Love isn't always a fairy tale. Sometimes it's about facing your own fears and admitting what's been holding you back. That's exactly what makes The Groomsmen, Last Dance, the third and final installment in Hallmark Channel's beloved Groomsmen trilogy, such an emotional ride. For fans who have followed the journey from the very first film, this finale ties up every heartfelt loose end, yet it still manages to surprise. But here's where it gets controversial. Does love have to be dramatic and sweeping to feel real? Or can it be quieter but just as meaningful? Let's dig deep into this final chapter. The opening scene throws us back to where all the drama began. Hannah's wedding. Not only did this kickstart the series, but it was also the event that launched the groomsmen's own romantic sagas. Remember Pete meeting Chelsea? And the revelation of Danny's friend Zach dating Nolan? Now attention shifts to Jackson, played by Hynes, whose world is about to change when he learns his daughter Betty is moving to Italy with her mother. Now here's the heart of the story. Jackson, a dedicated agent to influencers and a fiercely loving single father, has always put others, especially his daughter, first. But when Betty and her mom relocate to Italy, Jackson's life takes a sharp turn. Although devastated, he maintains a healthy co-parenting dynamic with Trish. So when Trish asks him to look after Betty for a month in picturesque Italy, Jackson seizes the opportunity, longing for a break from his increasingly unsatisfying career. Little does he know, his Italian adventure will lead not just to new scenery, but a transformation in his approach to life and love. Upon arrival, Jackson literally bumps into Gabriella, a striking Italian woman who immediately calls him out for being a distracted American tourist. It's a classic enemies to something more setup. Gabriella isn't just his daughter's landlord. She also co-manages the local restaurant with her mother, making her a staple in Betty's new life. Despite their rocky start, Jackson soon offers his expertise to revamp Gabriella's restaurant's online presence, both as a favor and a much-needed escape from feeling like an overbearing parent. Betty, ever the matchmaker, orchestrates moments for Jackson and Gabriella to connect, but Jackson's fear of getting too close prompts him to pull away just as sparks begin to fly. Things take a turn at the town's colorful masquerade festival, when old friends Danny and Pete show up for a surprise visit. Amid masks and swirling music, Jackson finds himself dancing with a mysterious partner. Naturally, it's Gabriella in disguise. The encounter awakens feelings Jackson's been fighting. Still, he hesitates, caught between wanting to move on and being tethered by old wounds. Here's the part most people overlook. Betty, wise beyond her years, finally tells her father the truth. She confesses that his hovering makes her feel stifled, unable to fully grow or form friendships. Jackson, defensive at first, comes to see he hasn't just been shielding Betty. He's been closing himself off as well, boldly addressing the delicate balance between protection and independence. This moment gives the film its emotional core. Soon after, a mishap leads Jackson and Gabriella to an unexpected overnight at her father's rural vineyard. While at first, the atmosphere is prickly, an honest conversation between the two fathers, both loving, both a bit battered by life, helps Jackson see that emotional distance only leads to regret. He encourages Gabriella's father to help bridge old divides, and in doing so, realizes he must do the same for himself. But the real twist. The series' mysterious narrator, the runaway bride whose hidden identity has spurred fan theories since the first film, is finally revealed. It's Betty, now grown and dubbed Elizabeth, about to marry Milo, Danny's nephew. Betty confides that she fled her wedding, not out of cold feet, but because she worried their love didn't measure up to the groomsmen's epic stories. That's the spark of controversy to chew on. Does every great romance require fireworks? Milo gently upends this belief, revealing a childhood arcade game high score, MLB, which he tells Betty stands for Milo Loves Betty. This poignant reveal brings her back to the altar, surrounded by the loving presence of Jackson, Danny, and Pete. Does all of this sound familiar? If you've seen films like 4 Weddings and a Funeral, or Hallmark's recent 2 Scoops of Italy, you'll love the blend of humor, heartfelt moments, and romance shaped by dazzling backdrops and relatable characters. Personally, I found myself utterly charmed by this trilogy's emotional payoffs and the growth of its characters, especially Jackson. Admittedly, I wished for a big-screen wedding between Jackson and Gabriella, but the real magic came from watching Tyler Hynes and Chloe Raphael develop such an authentic, moving father-daughter dynamic. And this is the element that most viewers may underestimate. The soul of the groomsmen last dance lies in the family ties, not just the romantic ones. However, I should address a point that might stir debate among fans. The transition from Betty to her adult form as Elizabeth feels slightly jarring. Young Betty is spirited and tomboyish, while Elizabeth is composed and formal, a contrast likely crafted to maintain narrative suspense. Whether this disconnect matters, or if perhaps it hints at the ways we all change as we grow, deserves some discussion. What do you think? Should the film have bridged this gap more smoothly? In the end, as the crowd grooves to Shake Your Groove Thing at Betty and Milo's wedding, there's a sense of joyful closure as Jackson, Pete, and Danny reprise the dance they invented as kids. Chloe Raphael's performance as young Betty is particularly touching. She radiates warmth and credibility, rounding out the groomsmen circle with fresh energy. Memorable quote: "Remember all those times you walked me to school in Italy?" Betty asks Jackson, as he walks her down the aisle. "Those were just practice runs." It's a line that rings so true for anyone who's ever parented a growing child. My verdict: The Groomsmen Last Dance is a charming, rewarding watch that beautifully wraps up 3 intertwining love stories. If you haven't already, make time to experience all 3 films back to back. There's something universally touching about following friends and families through major milestones. But here's my question for you. Do you believe that ordinary love stories are just as powerful as the messy, movie-worthy romances? Or do you, like Betty, secretly long for drama, coincidences, and grand gestures? Let's start a conversation. Drop your thoughts in the comments below.